Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast where we challenge industry norms, question everything, and share things we're doing in hopes of starting some conversations, inspiring some people, and maybe even driving some change. So my name is Todd, and I'm here with my wife and co-host, Jen. Hi, Jen. So today we're going to talk about, this is going to be a really relaxed podcast, I think. We're going to talk about working with your spouse or a partner. Some of the, I think your mic was off.
It was.
Some of the highlights, some of the lowlights, and then how we keep things moving.
I don't know why that just cracked me up.
What, that your mic was
Yeah.
off? I just forgot to turn it back on.
I didn't know if I was supposed to reach over or what to do, and I was like, kind of.
Yeah, if you see that red dot, just. So let's kick things off with our story. I think we've talked about it on the podcast. We've talked about it with people in person a lot.
It's a good story.
But we'll recap it. And if you haven't heard the first one or two episodes, I think we break down, maybe even it's the first episode, we break down how we got here. So do you want to run through a quick version or?
Oh, being quick is not generally a thing.
All right, we'll run through a version.
Where do I start?
I don't know.
Where I left, what we just started?
All right, so you were at a salon that you had co-owned.
Yeah.
For 10 years.
I think almost 10, yeah.
So you opened before I opened the gym.
Yeah, I was always off
and
a
I
year.
was like,
I had a hard time with
I was
the
like 6
anniversary date.
months.
So let's just say 10
years.
It's
so
just
you
a
were
cool
over
number.
10.
Yeah.
So you were there. I wanted to change. I was at in my life as far as career wise. I wanted to change, and I guess the stars just aligned, and we started working together.
Yeah, I think
it happened really quick.
I also was ready for a change, not out of the industry, but I feel like I said it this way in the other podcast, but I could see where I wanted to be, or at least like had a vision of like, I wanted to be educating more, and I just thought it'd be cool if we were doing more content creation days and doing more social media stuff, just all of these little things and like stuff that we're doing now, like just how do we do that? And you came into my last salon and we tried to do some of it, and it just, heads were just butting and it just wasn't working, and it sort of opened my mind up. Like honestly, I'll tell you, to talk to anybody, like if you feel stuck, you're never stuck. It is scary as fuck to make a change. That just rhymed. That was kind of cool. But I knew that as scary as it was, I had no idea what the other side was, but that I couldn't continue on the same path. That was just, it wasn't going to fulfill me. We were done having children. I looked at like, if I'm working for the next 20, 30 years, like it has to be different. It can't be this same 10 years, like over again. I just can't keep doing this. And I guess that was kind of my push. I had no idea where I was going, but
agreed. So when we decided to partner, I had closed my business.
Yeah.
I had just wanted a change.
Yeah.
Had no clue where I was going. And it seemed like a really cool in-between gig until I figured out what I was doing or what I wanted to do. I knew that I wanted to build another business, but I didn't know what that looked like.
And I knew I still wanted to be in this business.
Right.
But it needed to change, and I didn't know what that looked like.
Right. And so again, the story is in podcast, I believe, episode 1. You can go back and listen to that, but they're probably not as good as these podcasts now. I know this is...
I don't know. I still haven't listened to any yet.
Yeah.
I can't handle it.
We've come a long way. But anyway, so...
I believed in you that you could get me where I wanted to be, and I think you...
Yeah, okay.
Kind of came in like, I want to do this together. Like you had said, you're like, I want to work with you. Like that was pretty much where you were at.
Yeah, I thought it was cool to work because we had sort of, like I had helped you with some things at the salon and you had helped me with some things at the gym, but there was never a day-to-day workflow with us.
Right.
And I thought that would be cool. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that we did, and I highly recommend that you don't do this if you're listening, is to sort of fall into our roles at the salon.
Yeah, I think touching on that, because I was just going to make an excuse for why, but it doesn't matter. The excuse needs to go. Mm-hmm. You can say like, it was so chaotic and I just was so busy and I had to do all this stuff because I was just about to say all that because I was like coming out of a business in the middle of like a lawsuit, like trying to find a place to work.
Closing a business, looking for
the pandemic hit.
In between.
There's just like all of these things. But let me tell you, if you do not take the time to make it the most important, it's probably not your time yet. Like it's just not. Like I've had a lot of people be like, you'd probably never have another partner because of what you went through.
Here we are.
Yeah, I don't. I say totally have a partner. But within that, you have to do certain things that are non-negotiable. You need an attorney, you need an agreement, you need to have roles and tasks laid out. And if you don't have the energy to do that, you're not ready to do anything else. Mm-hmm. Stop, freeze, go back to that. That's important.
So we'll get to what people can do to keep things moving in a little bit. But definitely we fell into sort of those roles, and naturally, like I took over our social media marketing. I do produce, I guess, the podcast. Yep. I do the writing for the blog posts. I maintain the website, all that stuff.
A newsletter to come out soon.
Newsletter coming soon. You do a lot of the educating, the technical stuff. I do some of the technical educating in the salon when it comes to short hair, barbering, things that I can do, things that I can teach. But yeah, having that laid out would have been nice.
Yes.
That's where, so we have a business coach because we know that we can't do it alone.
We can't do everything.
Even though there are two of us, like,
yeah,
you still need someone to say like, hey, you've missed this. It's a fresh pair of eyes. So we've definitely settled into this divide and conquer approach that I feel like is working really well for us at the moment.
Correct.
I can't promise that won't change and we won't have to team up on certain things. So I know some of the relationships we've been making, that needs to be both of us. I might handle some of those decisions. You might handle other ones, but it's important for us to be united and on the same page. So I want to dive into, like, this isn't all fucking unicorns and rainbows and fairy tales.
You don't say.
So we've had to deal with things that, especially being married. I think when you're married and you become business partners, you face this criticism that I don't even know if it's valid. I think it's just maybe people are miserable in their marriage. So they're like, for example, oh my God, you're going to work with your wife? How's that going to work? Mm-hmm. I like my wife.
I got a lot of those. Like, I would never work with my husband.
Good for you.
Okay, then just don't. Actually, even funny enough, a business coach we had met with a hell of a long time ago, we're in this together, and she's like, I would never work with my husband. And she went off, and I'm like, you realize you're talking to a husband and wife that work together. Yeah, you're fired. That was awful.
I don't remember exactly who you're talking about.
Oh, I do. I'm not going to say names, though.
Don't name names. Or you can.
No. Moving on.
So we have some little stories, I guess, that we can share. We've fought about stupid shit. And I think it's important. So for reference, if you're listening to the podcast or watching on YouTube, first of all, thank you. Second of all, when I say we've fought,
we have to define this because some people think like, wait, you have like a fight? Like,
that's not healthy.
Our fight is literally just like a banter back and forth.
It sounds almost like if you were watching us fight, and I'm doing air quotes for people listening, it's almost like a courtroom scene.
I was going to say a political debate.
It could be a political debate, but we have points though. True. And they often don't.
Yeah.
So I think of it as like we're in a court situation where I lay out my arguments, you lay out your arguments, and then somehow...
Or I have to quickly think of them because he makes me use my brain, and I'm like, I didn't know we were going here.
Yeah. So that's what we're talking about. So don't think like, holy shit, these guys fight all the time. No. They're screaming at each other and throwing coffee cups.
Yes.
A Ford fight is a debate, a good debate.
It is.
That's how a
good debate. And then you move on when it's done. Sometimes it takes me a little bit longer, to be honest.
She's not lying. So one of the things we've fought in air quotes about is coffee.
Oh, the coffee.
We talked about it where we had Steve Ferreira on a little bit ago.
That was a heated coffee debate.
Yeah.
I'm not joking. It was heated.
And it was stupid because it's coffee.
I was holding my ground.
So first of all, it's stupid because we had a pandemic.
We couldn't even have coffee.
You couldn't have coffee.
And Todd won the debate. I was ready to go with this. What is it called?
It's just a French press.
French press.
You dump coffee in it. You pour hot water over.
I was ready
push
for
the
it.
handle down,
and you couldn't
and you
even
get
have
delicious coffee. That's all I was saying. That's all I wanted.
I wanted a Keurig. Guess what we have now?
Fucking Keurig. It does the trick, but look. All right, we're not gonna see what I'm saying.
It's good.
Okay. What are some of the other things that we've dealt with?
One of the stupidest things I can think about was even just like the paint color. You were like going to lose your mind one day.
No, I lost my mind.
So he paints the wall, and it's literally.
I don't know if this has anything to do with being business partners.
No, probably.
Actually, you know what? Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I can't believe we just did that shit. We're usually not that.
It was because
corny.
I talked you off the ledge. You were like, it's fucking green. I quit. We called a friend. He's like, you got to finish painting the wall. We were going for gray, by the way. And it's beautiful gray.
It's the gray we went with.
Yeah, we stuck with it. And he's like, you have to finish painting it green, gray, whatever color it is, because you have to prime it and repaint it. So I'm like, Todd, just finish it. Come home.
I'm not a painter.
Let's just call it a day. I'll go back in the morning and like, let's take a look and then reassess. You're like, what the fuck will happen in the morning? I'm like, I have no idea. Let's just like, whatever. And we go back in the morning and I walk in. I'm like, it's friggin' beautiful. He's like, you're fucking shitting me. And I'm like, no, I love it. It's like beautiful. And it is. It's great. It happens to be touching a yellow wall. So the green part while it was drying would have not been great with the yellow, but it all came together. And all you needed is someone was to be like, just finish the project.
When it was wet,
done.
it did not look.
Army green.
Yeah. When it dried, it's a different color.
Yeah.
And I get that. Opening this place was so stressful at certain points because, and I wouldn't change anything because I learned so freaking much, but some of the things that I just didn't know, like I'm not a contractor, I'm not a painter, I don't build shit.
Our dynamics work well together because I feel it's just like, actually, it goes with being married. I've always said like, for us, like our marriage has continued so well because we both didn't want to leave at the same time. We're both like, there's one that will fight more and then the other one the next time. And that's where it is. And in this case, relatable, he's getting stressed. If I just add stress on top of it, like we're not going to get anywhere, nowhere positive. So it's like, okay, I need to tone it down a notch. Like come home, let's figure it out. Like no big deal. Let's go back tomorrow, reassess. Like that's yesterday's problem now. And now we're going to move into a new day. But if we both were freaking out, like, it wouldn't. It would have been horrible. Like the brains explode, you know. So, yeah, I think that's where we work well when we realize like one has to chill or chill the other one out, and at that timing.
Mm-hmm. It's not always easy to pause from that reactivity, but
That's the word. Yes.
We're
no, it's not
working
easy.
on it.
Yeah.
We're working on it and getting better at it. So it's important because this episode at least is about working with a partner, working with your spouse in particular. Yeah. So one of the things I wanted to bring up was work and how it creeps into every freaking moment that you allow it to.
Yeah.
And highlight on the word allow. So this is something that we have had to work on pretty aggressively. Because when you own a business, and if you own your own business or you work for yourself, you know, if you pick up your phone,
it's a 24/7 thing.
There are
as
emails,
much as you allow it to be.
There are messages. There are phone calls. There are
It never
everything.
ends.
It never ends. But you allow that.
Yeah, you have to create the boundary so that there's certain shut-off times.
Right. So that one of the things that we've dealt with is, and we've had our fights in quotes again, is so you're not as good at creating those boundaries as I am.
Correct.
You're working on it. You're better.
Yes.
But you would be on your phone on an off day. Like we don't work Sundays, for example. Our salon is open, but we are with our family on Sundays. But Jen would be on her phone. And it is to the point, or was to the point, where if it's 10 o'clock at night and a client texts, you're texting back. So you're just perpetuating that cycle.
I now have created a boundary for that, by the way. Proud of myself.
Great. We'll share it we'll share it when we get there.
Yeah. And I'm following.
But I think it was important for you to acknowledge that. And it took me at times feeling like I was like harping on you. Is that the term? I would point it out constantly. Like you would pick up your phone, and I'm not asking this because I'm an overbearing husband, but I would be like, who's on your phone? Who are you texting?
No, you would say, what client needs you now?
Yeah. Okay. So I would come up with things. And that was my way of just bringing awareness, because if you allow that work to creep in, then it's really freaking difficult to like see that you're doing that.
Yeah, it was just constant. And so for me, one of the things, like Todd would get up in the morning and he's got like a fresh set of ideas that he wants to share with me because he's excited. And anyone out there that has children, and we have 3, 8, 6, and 3, and it's get breakfast, get them up, get breakfast, get their lunches packed, backpacks, get them dressed, they could do it too, but they need assistance from their parents, right? Marley will always say, like, I can get dressed, but I like you to help me. He's my 8-year-old boy. I'm going to help him. I want to, like, that's some days not going to be there. And then get them out to the bus. And this is all like a strategic time capsule. And Todd would be like, hey, what do you think about this? What do you do with this? And I would like be like, why are you talking about this right now? Like, I can't do this with the kids and keep my patience, because I have very low patience, keep my patience and be like a fun mom and try to be like happy about everything that's going on, and then put on the work hat. Like, I cannot do both. There's got to be a pause here. And this is the kids' time, the bus time. Let's get them to school and then have a conversation. And that took a while to get to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's still a work in progress, but where, like, I'll often now ask, like, can we talk about work? If we don't, and we're going to get into some things that we do to hopefully help listeners, but I'll just ask if it's okay, or if you have the bandwidth, because some days you're tired. Some days you're tired and you don't want to deal with work. There are times where I've said to you, I just want to shut my brain off. I don't really care that someone canceled their appointment or whatever happened, whatever major fire needs putting out, you know? So I think keeping things separate is really difficult. And then this is sort of the same point, but playing off of it, working together, living together, everything's combined. The lines get blurred.
For sure.
So you
and
have
sometimes
to,
it's okay, and sometimes
right. That's
it's
the
not,
thing.
and
that's
the
thing.
hard part, because you can have that, but you're like, oh, we're having in a good conversation, it's going well, so like, let's continue this as long as we can. And then I have moments where I'm like, okay, let's wrap down on this because I need to shut my brain down. It's like, oh, okay.
Shutting your brain down is a great thing to do, because we will go. I think both of us will tend to go.
Well, we're extreme in some of those situations.
Until things get like confused. You don't even know what's going on.
Now you just got overwhelmed.
So, for example, our son had a tooth, a crown.
Oh, yeah.
A crown pop off. It was no big deal. He wasn't in pain. I said, Jen, I'll take care of it. I think you were at work or something. I don't remember.
I don't even know. It was just a very chaotic time. I think I might have been.
We were going through whatever we were going
traveling
through.
For the thing.
You could have been traveling.
And
yes.
Yeah, I have a lot on my plate with some different things that I'm trying to create too.
So you weren't around is what it was. Yeah. And I said, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. So I called the dentist and I made an appointment, and they said, great, bring him in. Probably not a big deal. You'll be here for 2 seconds.
Great.
So I bring him to the dentist, and the dentist says, when was the last time he was in? And I said, well, this crown was like less than a year ago, months to a year, somewhere in that range. I didn't remember exactly. And they said, okay, we don't have any record of him being here from 2017. And I was like, well, you're wrong. Sorry, doc.
He's texting me, by the way. Like,
I'm at
the right dentist.
And I felt like I was in the Twilight Zone.
I'm like, he was just there like 3 months ago. Yes, that's his dentist. I don't know what they're talking about.
So they don't have any records, and the dentist is working on Marley. He cements the crown back down, and he said, Todd, I don't do these. So I know I didn't do this. I don't know who did it, but I didn't. And I just assumed that that's the dentist Marley went to, but I was in this brain fog at the time.
And I'm texting you, are you okay? Are you good? And you're like, yeah, we got this. So I'm like, oh, okay, they found the records. I realized he's been there.
No. So anyways, he had been going to a pediatric dentist. Mm-hmm. I didn't know, because you always bring him. So I brought him to the wrong fucking dentist office, and they were great. And they
brought him to our dentist. Yeah, that's what it came down to.
And they don't really work on kids. But then Marley had a lot of fun. He liked the dentist.
Yeah.
And the assistants, and everyone is so nice to him, that the dentist was like, you can continue. He's such a great patient that you can continue to bring him here, which was cool and not the point of the story. But the point of the story was like, even when you're trying to help each other, sometimes that shit doesn't work.
Oh, like, oh, you're at the wrong dentist. Okay.
Some of the other things, like, you just have to, as a couple who owns a business together, who also has separate things that they're working on and doing.
Side projects,
and all sorts of fun stuff that we're excited about, but it limits the time we have together.
The one thing in life we all get, every single person, is the same amount of time in a day, 24 hours. Doesn't change. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't
change unless it's your first or last day. Different podcast.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, our youngest son, he's napping right now while we record this, because this is the time that we have. And so
Todd
when
sets this up, I bring him up, and then we're
we
like,
set up our
go
backdrop. Time. I grab the lights and tripods and camera, and I make sure all the batteries are charged and whatever. And then we're limited
to when he wakes up, and then the bus is coming because we have those 2 other ones that are in 1st and 3rd grade.
Right. So
that's real life, guys.
Yeah. So we have to sort of schedule this stuff. We can't just last minute throw this together. So when Oliver ditches his nap, I don't know what we'll do, but we'll cross the bridge when we get there.
Yeah. He'll be podcasting with us.
One of the other things that I had that was on this not rainbows and unicorns list was the shutting it off when the other person doesn't want to talk. That was something we struggled through for a little bit.
The other night, actually, we were on a great roll of like some ideas for some stuff we want to do.
Brainstorming session.
And Todd was even like, great, can you text that to me? And I'm like, yeah, because I was going to make a note. And he's like, just text it to me. And then in the morning when I get up, I can just start working on it. But like it might sound silly or like petty. I don't even know the word, but I texted him all the stuff that like I was saying that I thought were good ideas because he already knew his, and just shot it over. So he knew in the morning when he woke up, he was just good to go. And then we knew we didn't have to like be like, what was that point or whatever. And then we just moved on. Like that was it. It's time to chill.
Mm-hmm. Any other little fun stories? What do we have fights on?
The coffee one still gets me.
The coffee one is pretty funny.
Yeah, it is. It's actually very funny.
The paint one, you talking me off the ledge, was pretty funny too.
Yeah.
Looking back, we've had disagreements and we've dug in on certain aspects of the business. Some of the like the freedoms we allow, we're reactive with one or the other.
Yeah, I think sometimes it comes down to like, where are you coming from with that? And I'm so not I hate the word old, but so seasoned in this industry.
Seasoned.
That was great, right? I like
sure,
that.
Whatever.
It's wonderful. So some stuff comes at me and I'm like, for 22 or 62 years, so whatever
62.
you want. 62 years. I look so good. I say that every time. I can't wrap my brain around it. Like, who does that? Why would you do that? But yet, like, I wanted to step into the next venture, and that was Hello, to grow as a person and do some stuff that's different and attract the people that want to be in a new age, a new way of doing things.
Well, we talked about that.
But that doesn't make it easy. Like, because, like, some people are like, you make it look so easy. Like, it's not easy.
You have no idea.
Yeah, it's continuing growing. It's continuing opening my mind and being open to a conversation that I may not like, or then saying to my husband, like, I don't like your idea. Like, that's not easy to say. And he'll the same with me. Like, Jen, that doesn't make sense. And to me, I'm like, what do you mean? Like, but those are...
Yeah, you feel attacked sometimes because you have this idea that you're putting forward and you truly believe that you're making a decision based on what's best for not only your business, but your business partner, not only your business partner, but your wife.
Right.
Or your husband.
Yeah.
You know, or significant other or whatever.
And it's hard to, have your ideas judged or shot down. And it's great when they're accepted. But I think for me, one of the things I really learned was, at least I know when an idea moves forward with either Todd or I, we're both on board. We both understand where the other person's coming from. And sometimes it may be an agree to disagree, but we've agreed that this is what's best for moving forward. And
well, at some point you have to choose, right? You can't sit in a stalemate.
Like when you ask your friend, like, how's my outfit? And she always says yes, but sometimes your outfit sucks. Like, you don't want that. You want someone's going to be honest. Like, no, those shoes don't go with that dress. That dress is too tight. I don't know what it is. Like, go change. Like, you do want that bit of truth. Now, it's not always easy to swallow, and it's not always, it can hurt your feelings. But yet, at the end of the day, if you don't have that, then you've got nothing. Like, that's boring. And you're just then now moving along in a path that's not even real or authentic. So, it's not easy, but it's worth it.
No, it's not easy. And I think that like what you just touched on is important because we have times where, and I guess this is going to draw us into this next sort of block and talking about what people can do to keep things moving. Yeah. Sometimes, even if I don't think it's the best decision, if it's what we're choosing, I'm backing you 100%. Mm-hmm. Like we will go down swinging, fighting, mm-hmm. because that's how I believe a partnership has to get to that point. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You can't not back the person because then you're going to have this divide in your business. And if you're a commission salon, the shit is already hard enough. Yeah. You don't want to divide your team now and you have Team Todd and Team Jen.
No, that's.
I would win if we did that.
Okay.
Name it. How do we do this? This needs to be a contest.
I'm very likable.
Okay. We should come up with some sort of a game.
No.
We can do like town hall meetings and then have the staff
because
vote.
People think you're funnier than me and they like when you pick on me and they think it's hilarious, which it's like
it's how you win
mostly
the people.
Funny.
It's how you win the people.
But sometimes it's a want to punch you in the face moment.
Gee. Aggressive.
Sometimes.
I've heard that from people, like other people that I talk to that are like, I love.
They want to punch you in the face?
No, not me, but their business partner. Like, I love this person, but I want to kick them in the fucking face.
It's just
90% of the time.
That's real life, though.
But the 10% is so good.
If you're telling, in any relationship you're in, if you're like, it's always wonderful, like you're just lying. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Liar.
I don't love to live in that world. I love real and shit's tough and it's worth it. And if it wasn't worth it, I wouldn't do it. So
one of the next things that I wanted to touch on was what we sort of started with, which was the roles and tasks.
Yes.
I would highly recommend if you're going into business or you're in business and you haven't done this yet, don't stress. But spend some time writing out what you do for the business and what your business partner does for the business. Sit down with them, have them do the same thing if you want, and then sit down with them and compare notes. Exercise. Because what happened with us is that I started seeing some little things on Jen's list that she does that I sort of would have left off of the list if I just created it, and vice versa. Mm-hmm. So then you get it. It gives you a little bit of more respect. Not that I didn't respect you, but it shows you all the little things that somebody, if you're writing it on a list,
it's appreciated in a different way.
Yes, it's. Yeah. I don't know.
And then as new things come up, it's like, all right, who's taking this on? You know, like, okay, you're getting kind of full on yours, so this really should go here, but maybe you're better at it or whatever. Like, it just helps you keep a streamline with that.
And it helps keep accountability. So, for example, I do the marketing.
Yes.
And so I'm in contact with the person that does a specific aspect of our marketing that we outsource. So we pay somebody to handle a lot of our SEO stuff.
Which is a new thing for us because you were doing all of it.
And if I drop the ball on that, we know because we can look at our list and say like, well, who was supposed to do that? Right. Well, I was, and I didn't do it. Yeah. So it provides that accountability too.
And it makes the conversations easier. Mm-hmm. Because of
who was supposed to do that.
Yeah, we laid this out. Like, it's very clear.
So you have to have boundaries as well. You have a home, you have a business, you might have kids, you might have dogs, whatever, something you have to care for, a fish.
A snake.
We have a snake. Yeah. Rachel has 6. Rachel has 6. Yeah, shout out Rachel if you're listening.
Yeah, we have 1.
Because every time I'm like, we have a snake, we're cool. And Rachel's like, I have 6, and they're like 8 feet long.
Oof. So I can't do that.
I want to go visit them. But anyways, you have to have the boundaries at home and the boundaries in the business. Mm-hmm. So again, touching on, like, we back each other. I would never go into the business with like a disagreement. That's not for there. That's
leave
for,
that at the door.
That's for outside.
Absolutely.
And flip it, like I would not talk. I can't think of a example off the top of my head, of course, but I would not talk about certain business things at home. Mm-hmm. I'm sure.
Yeah.
So
I can't think of it either, but I'm sure that applies.
Yeah, there are things I'm sure if we sat down and put thought into it. But what we do to stay organized here is that we set dates and lay out our calendars ahead of time.
Yes.
So we set dates.
We laid out a whole quarter this last time.
We set dates for everything. So and we share a calendar. So, or we put them in our calendars at the same time.
I actually use a physical planner.
We did do it on that one, yeah, this time. And it's helped a lot because you can just glance at it.
Yeah.
But what we do is we sit down and we list out dates. And you can even, if you're in a relationship with your business partner, you need to list out your dates for personal dates too.
Everything you're doing. Because we have our, like I said, we have side projects.
Work will creep the fuck in.
So like the side projects have a responsibility to, then the business, then the family, all of these things have to go on.
Well, I'm talking about family. I'm talking about even like date nights. Like, hey, we're taking this day off. Yes. We're not talking about work. We're not doing work. We're going to maybe have family over, watch some football, whatever the case might be, right? For all of our staffing and coaching calls, we lay that out. Mm-hmm. We've been laying that out for the quarter. So we're 3 months ahead. We know what days we have coaching calls on. We lay out our meetings for the salon. I'm more flexible. So some of it sort of falls on me if it's not important. If it is important, then we set a time to where I'll get the information, come back, talk to Jen. Hey, this is the information. Let's make a decision.
Or some we meet together. Like we have one coming up, and we've carved out an hour of time, and then Todd is there to, after we do that, all the steps are going to need to be done after that meeting. We'll go on with him and the person we're meeting with, and they'll take it from there. But I don't want to not be part of it because I want my input in that meeting also, but I can't be there for all of it. So. Mm-hmm.
And we default on that particular meeting. That's your warehouse. That's your wheelhouse. And that's like you will, I default?
I think that works.
Step out of the way. Whichever. Concede. Well, like whatever decision she makes, because it's in regard to color. Yeah. So whatever decision you make is what we're going to roll with.
Right.
There's not going to be much of a decision because we've already decided ahead of time that those decisions fall on you.
Yes.
So
right, that's under my roles and tasks. I just can't facilitate what needs to go on after, but
it's not that
able to get it going.
And it's not that we won't talk it out. Mm-hmm. We still will talk it out because you still need, I think it's important to play through, you love this sort of that devil's advocate, like, well, what are we missing? Mm-hmm. What is the possibility of some cons? What are some of the pros? Like, because when you first have a meeting or whatever, something comes up, you're excited either way. You're reactive and you're like, this is great. Charge. Let's do this. But you really have to, I think, stay organized, which is the point I was making.
That's the pause part that comes in. It's
you
huge.
have to sort of think through like.
It's cool to be excited.
What I'm missing, what we're looking at, all that stuff. But then
you've got to take it down a notch and lay it out.
So anything else for people to keep sort of people on track? I would say find like... Staying organized is super important. What that looks for you is less important. So if you, like I use a notebook, me too. I rely heavily on my phone though. Mm-hmm. So my calendar is in my phone. All my show notes for the podcast, like everything goes in. I sort of build everything in my phone, but your workflow might look different. Maybe you're a pen and paper person. You got a nice notebook.
Oh, you got that for me with my planner. So I like to write. Mm-hmm. So mine is, I have this notebook until it's gone, and I just put a heading on it so I know what project is what when I'm writing about it. And then I have my actual daily planner so that the month is laid out so I know what's going on where with that too. And then here we have an actual planner on our fridge for all of the family stuff. So it's aligned.
We could do a podcast in the future on our workflow for certain projects.
Let's have a dentist appointment next Friday at the pediatric dentist.
Mm-hmm. I'll be there. I don't have the address, but
I'll get you there.
But I'll find it. How are we feeling? Good? Close it out?
I think it's great.
I think it's great too. So it's always fun to chat about relationship balance and those things. I think we shared some funny highlights.
Yes.
And maybe some lesser lights. So thank you for listening or watching, whatever you do. We appreciate the support. Get on our mailing list. We've got some solid blog posts coming out in a little bit. And like I mentioned, I sort of teased it already, but some behind the scenes and processes for people that hopefully will inspire. So feel free to steal those and we will talk soon. Thank you.